Welcome to Presente, a space and community that vibes on being in the moment, something we are relearning how to do in a fast-moving world.
We are excited to be part of a growing movement that talks about topics that we feel haven't been talked about in our Latin culture and womanhood.
Be present with us. Take a pause and break down societal norms.
Redefine the meaning of existing. Welcome to Presente, the podcast.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. It is officially 2024 and officially the start of Presente Season 2. We hope that you all have had a wonderful holiday and spent it well with your loved ones. Hope that it was a very time well spent with lots of things to be grateful for, especially as we take on the year 2024. Lots of things to look forward to. We truly hope everyone enjoyed their holidays. I sure did with my family and friends. We did a little bit of traveling. We're back now in New York, back to the routine, but hopefully with a better outlook on the year ahead. One thing I do want to say to our listeners, because I took note of this after our very last episode, which was for the holidays, we had a moment where we were sharing our Christmas jingles and what we enjoy, what songs we play back. I totally missed the mark and forgot to acknowledge that Feliz Navidad, while it is a very classic song for the holidays, I totally forgot to mention that it is by Jose Feliciano, who is the creator of Feliz Navidad. And I said, you know what, going into this new year, I have to mention this because it just didn't sit right with my soul, knowing that I didn't pay tribute to him. That song is a classic, forever will be a classic. I definitely listened to it many times this past holiday. I will continue to do that for the rest of my life. I did have to note that because truth is, this podcast is also new to Jissela and I. We are beginners at this. We are literally teaching ourselves on how to navigate the whole podcasting world. So we hope, and I hope, that we can only get better. And it's by recognizing little things like this. I definitely wanted to be transparent with you all and just signify we are work in progress while we navigate our way through the podcast world. We're only going to get better with it, with proper references and researching. So please bear with us. But definitely, just to clear the air, Jose Feliciano, creator of Feliz Navidad, thank you for this wonderful holiday song. Just needed to clarify that. Gisela, you know how I was right after we
I
aired that
know.
episode. I was like, wait, what? What did I totally missed it. So, I'm glad that we can now clean that up on this episode. But how were your holidays? And I hope that you also had an amazing time and our listeners as well.
Yes. Happy 2024, everyone. Feliz Año Nuevo. We are officially in the number 8 manifestation year. Because if for those that don't know, 2024 is 2 plus 2 plus 4 equals 8. And the number 8 is the number of manifestations. New year, new era. Yay. Yes, a little bit of reflection of the new year. I actually went back to New York to visit my family, and it was honestly just a really chill holiday with some really good Peruvian food and a little bit of New Year's traditions, here and there. Something my mother always does is buy grapes. And I know I've heard a few stories about the grapes and the traditions behind it on TikTok. I've even seen some people like hide under, not hide, but go under the tables to do their 12 wishes for the new year. I definitely did that with the champagne that my parents bought, and we, all celebrated quietly together as a family, and that was really nice. That was New Year's in my household. I actually wrote down my wishes for the new year and, just trying to go into 2024 with some grace, because I think that's really important to enter the new year with not only a shift in mindset, but to go at it at your pace, because honestly, we are all going through life right now. And, just trying as best as we can, like Jennifer said, to navigate through this new journey, through this new year. And, as humans, just do the best that we can. Something I think I'm trying to learn for this new year is honestly not to control every single detail of my life, and just understand again how life happens, and I cannot check off everything on my to-do list, and it's okay, because eventually I will get there, and just, doing little bits and pieces here and there to grow ahead. Astrology Yearly Forecast.
Hey everyone. So we are in the year 2024. How exciting is that? Also coming to you with a brand new season 2 of Presente. And to kick things off, we decided to start our very first episode of the new year talking about our astrology, our horoscopes. I don't know about you, but like many, one thing I like to listen and read is what my daily horoscope would be. I am very guilty of that. So we thought it would be fun to pretty much set the tone for the year and go into the horoscopes for each sign of the zodiac, in which we will be breaking down by elements: the water signs, the air signs, the earth signs, and the fire signs. We will be giving you an overview look of 2024. And then Jissela is going to break things down by birth chart, which is very interesting, folks. She's really good at this, can give further insight into each one of our zodiac signs, which is very cool, interesting stuff. So please stay tuned while we give you insight on your 2024 horoscopes.
Air signs, the innovators: Aquarius, Libra, and Geminis. Hello, all members of the zodiac. So for today, we are going to discuss your yearly future and what there is to look forward to. I will be reading first the air elements, starting with Gemini. For 2024, Gemini should be a very positive and enlightening year for you generally. It should be a year of big positive transitions, opportunities, and possibilities. And I am sourcing moon omens, which you can find on Instagram. We will refer back to all of our sources at the end of the podcast. So if you want to look deeply into your personal horoscope, you know where to go to on Instagram. Continuing on for Geminis, you can count on, and you will realize that you can always count on life, that life is always on your side. You can expect certain special opportunities that you could only dream of before in your life. You are going to increase your knowledge, and you are going to feel the power of knowledge and wisdom. Libras, you are next. Dear Libra, 2024 is a year of big personal transformation for you, and you will be leaving behind certain parts of yourself. You will be saying goodbye to your past and to some of your strongest attachments. Your identity is going through a transformation, and you may not really feel like yourself anymore. The last air sign is for my fellow Aquarians. 2024 is an initiation year for you, a year when you're starting a new life, a year when you're starting a big transformation of who you are, of what you do and how you live, of how you behave, and what you want and need. Your whole life may go upside down, and this is what is needed, actually. This is what is wanted. You can expect to be introduced to something that you've never felt, seen, or heard before, something you've never experienced.
Water signs, the healers of the zodiac: Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces. Dear Cancer, you are going to feel some kind of relief from the big pressure that you have been feeling for quite some time. You are going to feel huge relief in your relationships with others and in who you are in relationships with others. You are going to manage stress much easier than ever before, and this will be a very transformative moment for you because you will feel greater freedom and ability to live your life in accordance with your highest priorities. Following up, dear Scorpio, you are taking control of things in your life this year. You are taking control of who you are, your impulses, and your reactions. You are able to control yourself and say no to things you know are not good for you. You are able to heal yourself and trust yourself now, and you will be greatly supported to make things work for you. You are going to explore what makes you happy, and you will be very determined about moving towards what makes you happy. And lastly, for our water element signs, dear Pisces, 2024 wants you to leave behind unhealthy routines and habits, and it won't stop until you make it happen. Life is teaching you all the time, and this year you will be able to see that life truly is the greatest teacher and that it will always put you in situations that are needed for you in that very moment and time. You learn how to surrender in situations where you don't have control, and you're taking full responsibility for those things that you do have control of. And that is all for our water signs.
Earth signs, the practical plan. Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. So up next is the earth elements. So starting off with Taurus is 2024 reading. So dear Taurus, 2024 is a year of radical changes for you, and you are looking forward to those changes. You can expect radical changes in your personal life, in how you look, in how you live your life, and how you behave, how you dress, and how you express yourself, and how you do your relationships. You are transforming life's rhythm, your routines and habits, your everyday life and your lifestyle. You are getting healthier in every way, and your well being will become the center of your attention. Dear Capricorn, 2024 brings you a very big relief in your present life and in your relationships. It brings strong therapeutic experiences, and you will be reminded of your own worth. You will be reminded of your own capacities and abilities. You may have felt lost, you may have felt deceived, or you may have felt abandoned in some way. You are starting to transform your relationship with money in a very powerful way, and you will be able to recover your sense of self-worth. Last but not least, hello, all Virgos. 2024 reveals a lot to you, and you will have the opportunity to discover many things that have been hidden inside you, many things that have been suppressed and denied, things that have been neglected or ignored. You can expect a powerful regeneration of your body, your mind, and your soul. This is the beginning of a new lifestyle for you. This is the beginning of a new era when it comes to your way of living your life, when it comes to your habits, routines, your duties and tasks, and your work and your free time. You may teach or transfer knowledge about something very deep and profound. You will feel guided, and you will see what is missing in your life.
Fire signs, the actionable ones, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. And for our fire signs, dear Leo, you are becoming very mature and responsible in 2024. And you will realize the true meaning of owning who you are. You won't be able to delay and skip certain things anymore, and you don't even want to do that. Somebody may help you in a powerful way. Somebody may play the role of a teacher, healer, or guru in your life, and this can be very life-changing for you. Or you may have that role in somebody else's life. Student teacher energy is very strong, and you will experience both sides this year in a significant way. Dear Sagittarius, you are focused on the future, and you will be supported by the future and futuristic things in life. Futurism is something that can serve you very well in all areas of your life, in love, in business, in communications, in learning things, in teaching, in building a family, and in building a home. You are turned towards the future, and the future is turned towards you. You will be able to quiet your mind in a very healing and calming way. Dear Aries, 2024 brings big reforms and upgrades in your relationships with people and in who you are with yourself and who you are when you're with others. You are building a very strong and completely new bond with yourself, and you're becoming more self-assured and self-confident. You are going to gain self-trust through self-knowledge. You are going to feel yourself as you haven't felt yourself ever before. You are making a bold and courageous decision to step away from everything that is making you feel less worthy. And that is your recap for 2024 fire signs.
What is an astrology birth chart? We were previously discussing the astrology and the zodiac signs, and I wanted to touch up on birth charts and what is a birth chart. So, have you ever felt not completely like your sun sign or sign you were born under? A birth chart is a unique chart to each individual. It's the way the stars in the cosmos were placed in the sky at the time you were born and where you were born. Your birth chart is made up of different planets that go deeper into your personality and even further by exploring the house placements. But for keeping it simple today, we're just going to talk about your big three, which are your sun, moon, and rising. If you would like to explore further into your placements, we'll share a website at the end of the podcast where you can calculate your placements. Right now, we are going to discuss our big three, which are, again, our sun sign, moon sign, and our rising sign. The rising sign can also be known as the ascendant sign. Your sun sign is like your powered or your empowerment from the sun, the sign that you were born under. And just for reference, everyone, I will be using my co-host Jennifer's birth chart to kind of like break down a little bit further into the big three of your birth chart. Your moon sign indicates your emotional intelligence and how you emotionally respond to other people. Kind of like when, let's say, something is happening in someone's life, how would you emotionally respond to them? Your rising sign is how others perceive you. So outwardly, how others may look at you, or you might contain or wear elements, let's say, of another sign that doesn't have to necessarily be your sun sign unless you have that placement in your rising sign. There's many layers to this, but I want to try to explain it in the most simple and basic way as possible. And just for further reading here by the author Sasha Fenton in her astrology book, Your Personal Guide, I want to just read a little bit on the rising sign because it is a little bit more than just how people perceive you outwardly. So the rising sign occurs at a point where the sun rises over the eastern horizon. The ascendant is the exact point with the rising sign, and it is the starting point for the 12 astrological houses. The rising sign can be more obvious than the sun sign. So when someone asks to guess your star sign and gets it wrong, it's likely that they're picking your rising sign rather than your sun sign. So like you might be born like a Leo, but you might have a rising in, I don't know, you might have a rising in like Pisces, and your outward look could be more like ethereal and mystic, etc. So that's why someone might confuse you when they first meet you. So let's get in a little bit deeper and talk about my co-host Jennifer's birth chart. So when I look at Jennifer's birth chart, Jennifer she has a sun in the sign of Cancer. And that means that this is the sign, again, that she was born under. So Cancer is a water sign, like Pisces and like Scorpio are known to be the zodiac signs healers of the zodiac sign. Water signs are very empathetic. They're very good at placing themselves in other people's shoes and just very compassionate and kind. And that is, I would say, they teach other signs that is a strength to have to kind of wear your heart on your sleeve. And my co-host Jennifer, again, she has that, and I feel like that's very much with her personality. She's very good at listening, and not only listening but understanding others when they are going through something in their own life. And I would feel like it ties into her moon sign, which in this case, her moon sign placement is in the fire sign of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius can also be known to speak their minds boldly. And honestly, in this case, she not only contributes the personality of being empathetic and understanding, but she will also keep it real and keep it straight. And I feel like those qualities are very important to have in, as a person in general, to kind of like give it to you how it should be, not sugarcoat nothing, because it just shows, I feel like, how caring you are as a human being. If something isn't like going right with a person, and they just, hey, I feel like I see you struggling here a bit, like, let's talk about it. So I feel like in those aspects, she is very much a Cancerian sun, but also with the boldness and speaking the mind of a Sagittarius emotional response intelligence. And then let's dive a little deeper into her ascendant sign. So my friend here has an ascendant in the sign of Virgo. I actually know another friend that also has the same ascendant sign. So Virgos are known to be the organizers, the checklist makers. Outwardly, they like to present themselves in a very polished and sophisticated manner. They like sophistication. They like, to try to run things smoothly, and outwardly, they like to maintain a clean and decluttered environment. So these are things that a Virgo ascendant would want to see in their home or in their space outwardly. Everything in order, everything where it's supposed to go. Just a little deep dive into what my co-host's birth chart looks like. Again, with the sun in Cancer, moon in Sagittarius, ascendant in Virgo. So when we got down to talking about Jennifer's birth chart, I feel like once I kind of explained what each of the big three meant, she kind of saw like a relation into, her personality. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Meeting her, you might think, she's a Virgo or a very practical earth sign. To be honest, when I first met you, I thought you might have exhibited more Leo personality, because I'm like, hey, this girl is really, she's really, I don't know, I got like fiery vibes, but that might have been, your moon sign speaking, like your Sagittarius part, which is a fire sign. But again, so see how I was like, oh, I thought she was a Leo, but no, she, she's a Cancerian. And I was like, oh, okay. So now when I got to know her a little bit more, I'm like, okay, now I see, Cancerian trait. I also see, the other two once we got into the conversation of astrology and the birth charts. And again, I believe that understanding yourself, for fun and, to keep an open mind is important in, this regard, to understand your personality a little bit more and dive deeper. Birth charts, while not all the information there might be accurate, they are helpful, in ways to understand yourself, especially if you've never truly identified completely with the sign that you were born under. Again, it's a fun way to go deeper and why we think the way that we do, and, explaining the actions that we take, and, how we are perceived at work, or what our work life is like. Again, it all connects us back to our journey just by trying to understand like ourselves a little bit more personality wise.
Wow, thank you so much, Jissela, for the breakdown on my birth chart. It is very interesting to dive a little deeper into my zodiac sign, rising sign, my moon sign, I guess my sun sign, which it's a little confusing to first wrap your head around all the different terminologies, but the way you broke it down makes it a little bit more easier to grasp.
Mhm.
I've heard about birth charts for many years now, and I did look into my birth chart many years ago,
Mhm.
in which it's very inciting to know like your traits and your life actually. For those of you who are looking to know about your birth chart or already have done so, you'll see that your birth chart gives you pretty much like a further insight into your life. And if you take a look back at your life or how you want to view your life in the future, your birth chart can be very telling. It's
Mhm.
fun. I do recommend for people to actually just, hey, take a quick look, or if you don't know so much about it, have someone help you or do a little bit more research on it. It is fun to know just a little bit more of yourself,
Mhm.
why I identify as a Cancerian. I am a July baby,
Mhm.
and I think that for the most part, my personality and my traits are very much like a Cancer, but I didn't really know about all these other things that attribute to it. So, for instance, like having my moon in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, and why it can be the reason why I speak my mind or have a sense of leadership qualities when it comes to my rising sign, which is my ascendant sign. Apparently, it's a Virgo, and just being a little bit more polished up and, well put together and organized. I do know those are traits of a Virgo, but I didn't realize that I do carry those traits as well.
Mhm.
Um,
It's
and
very exciting to
it is.
understand that other part of yourself, because not only is it like understanding your personality, but this is the time and place that you were born, and it's the way the stars were aligned, like at the time of your birth, like the time you first drew breath. Like it's wild and it's crazy. You can go so much deeper into understanding your chart.
It is wild and it is crazy. And I'm gonna share a little something speaking on that. So, as I mentioned before, I am new to motherhood. I had my daughter this past year, surprisingly, in July. She is a Cancerian as well. And
Key and paste.
it's just so funny how it worked out. I didn't plan it, but it is God's gift to me. And honestly, during my labor, when she was born, and me with my partner, and literally immediately when she was born, the doctor was like, "Happy birthday." And I just looked
Aw.
at my partner and I was like, "What time is it?" And I wanted to know it like on the dot, like exactly what her time of birth was, specifically, obviously to know it, but eventually to kind of look into this whole birth chart thing. It's important, people just take a look. It's fun to just check out a little bit more as to why you have certain traits and the traits that you carry of other signs. And like Jissela said, it is wild because at the time and place that you were born, you got to remember the world is always moving. The world is always moving. Time is always going. And just to know how all that intricacy plays into your personality and your life going forward, it's very telling. So thank you, Gisela, for breaking down my birth chart, using it as
Yeah, no
for others.
problems.
I
Mhm.
recommend others to look into theirs. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Honestly, I think it's a fun way to, again, understand yourself. And it goes deeper than more than just, your big three. Sometimes it can help you understand your career path, your talents, your gifts that you were born with.
Your
Again,
relationships, everything.
yes, your relationships, all of
Your
that.
health, it literally like breaks it down
Mhm.
into like every little detail. And it's because of the zodiac signs and the way the stars are, like how it's all connected, you know. I recommend others to look into it. It's not just the big three, but again, like you said, it's all these little details that add up to the bigger picture. It's cool stuff.
Why we love your sign.
It wouldn't be right if we didn't dive a little further into our zodiac signs and why we love them, why we love astrology and our horoscopes. Aries, you are the first of the zodiacs and the ram. I feel like Aries are very dynamic souls. They are a fire sign. They are very good at fast paced environments and are super generous beings. Aries does have the ruler planet of Mars, which is the planet of war. Only downside to Aries is that they can be really hasty. Some Aries tend to fall in love too easily, especially male Aries.
The next sign is the second sign, which is Taurus, the Taurus galleys. How you doing? You guys are, your status or your sign is the bull of the zodiac. This is another sign I actually rarely encounter. But we love our Taurus girlies because they know how to get ish done and still manage to live a lifestyle that is very chill, which in my personal opinion, is hashtag goals. I love how Tauruses are very into self-care and self-love. I think I like the level of comfort Tauruses strive for in their lives. Tauruses remind us to slow down, and that's what this sign is all about. The downside is Tauruses can be stubborn. They are ruled by the bull and they will not budge. Geminis, you are very persistent and social. You have a very active mind. You are knowledgeable on most things. You're like an encyclopedia, and you are known to be the social butterflies. The downside is that sometimes Geminis can act on impulse, and sometimes that can have consequences in return. Sometimes having too much going on in their active minds, they can miss the small details.
My fellow Cancers, what I love about Cancers is that they are excellent communicators. They are a water sign. Their level of speaking to others are analytical, but with emotional understanding. Cancers can be very family oriented. They protect their family with their heart. They are also really creative. I like to think that about myself. I like to call Cancers the princess of the zodiac. That was Jissela's term, and I will take that as well. Everything that they do for some reason reminds me of royalty in a very princess like fashion, is what Jissela said, that it can be very graceful. This is another sign that is also compassionate, will cry with you, and will be real and honest with you. The downside to Cancers is we can be overly emotional and take on other people's feelings. Sailor Moon vibes. Leo. Leos are the sun of the zodiac. That is their ruler. So Leo and Aquarius are actually opposite of one another. While Aquarius is more like trendsetter in their own way, Leo likes to attract more with their talents. Leos are highly creative and they are known to be excellent leaders. Leos are naturally gifted with many talents in the artistic side of things. Their symbol is also the lion. Downside is Leos can be stubborn energy and at times too much main character energy. They can forget about others in the room.
Virgos. Virgos, you guys are an earth sign. You are intelligent and practical. Virgos are known as the maidens of the zodiac. Virgos are known to love their checklists and have things mapped out on how to achieve certain goals. They do heavy research with when their interests are high on a subject that they are interested in, and they will present you with all the data they have found. They're also really good at strategy, and they're also into their health and their well-being. The downside, though, is sometimes they strive for too much perfectionism in all aspects of their life, which can sometimes be really overwhelming to a Virgo sign. Libra. Libras, you are very charming. My father is a Libra, and so is one of my besties. I feel like Libras are such beautiful people and honestly, the most charismatic people I've ever met. They tend to be high perfectionists in their work. I speak from experience of my father. He's really overly detailed in how he does his work, and so is my friend Sylvia. They are super patient, very patient. I honestly do not know how you guys do it. The downside to Libra is that sometimes you do have a hard time in making decisions, and sometimes it could be something as picking, I don't know, the flavor of an ice cream.
Scorpios. Scorpio is an interesting water sign, one of the zodiacs that are not always the most popular. They are really mysterious. They don't allow others to push them in any sense, and they are firm members of the zodiac. Scorpios are highly intelligent as well. You'll just never see it coming with a Scorpio. Downside, sometimes they can be possessive in matters of the heart. Sagittarius, the archer. You are adventurous and bold, not afraid to speak your mind. You shoot straight with your arrow. You are quick on your feet. Your strength is really admirable. You rise and bounce back up pretty quick when life tries to knock you down. Downside, sometimes Sagittarius lack discipline, which is where you can struggle to meet your goals.
Capricorns, you guys are the goat, literally. Most Capricorns that I've personally met always start in a situation that maybe isn't the best for them when they are the youngest, at least with many Capricorns that I've met in my personal life and that I've talked to on a deep level. Because when they are kids, they act as adults. When they are, in fact, still a child, they are very slow, but slow in a sense that they are methodical. They are the goats and they will climb to the peak of the mountain in due time. They take their time to achieve their goals. Capricorns are truly great workers and they easily establish themselves within society. They are highly intelligent, but they keep very quiet about it and they show it through their actions. With Capricorns, it's not just all talk. Capricorns do things based on action and they're very impressive people. I feel like within the zodiac sign, Capricorn shows the rest of us how to climb our own individual mountains to reach our own individual peaks. The downside to being a Capricorn, though, is that they do conceal their emotions. But unlike Aquarius, they put it all internally. Capricorns can sometimes sacrifice themselves for others so that others may be helped or supported, and so that they can see others rise. Because at a very young age, life has taught them how to handle their own emotions, and this can actually be their personality, and they actually come off as really graceful signs, because they are able to carry so much, even though Capricorns, you don't always have to. My fellow Aquarians, we're known as the water bearers, and we're air signs. Aquarius is the 11th sign in the zodiac and we march to the beat of our own drums. They will do the opposite of what we are asked to do. They have rebel energy, which can sometimes get us into trouble. They are known as the aliens, quote unquote, of the zodiac and can find themselves not often adjusting to society's ways of living. Aquarians are big on humanitarian causes and will speak up for the underdog. They love people from other parts of the world and have a high level of respect for different cultures. They do wish for a more equitable society. The downside is Aquarians are often known to be too detached in their style of emotional intelligence. It doesn't mean that they don't care about things. They just tend to separate this with logic instead of being run by drama. It can be a good thing, and sometimes it can be a bad thing because it kind of gives off like we are aloof or icy within our emotional standing.
And Pisces, the last of the signs. They say because Pisces is the last of the signs, they carry a piece of all previous signs. Hence why they can so easily place themselves in the shoes of others and empathize with others. Downside is Pisces are extremely kind and compassionate souls, but if they are not careful, people can easily treat them as doormats.
Resources.
Thank you for tuning in to our talk on astrology and birth charts. If you'd like to learn furthermore and dive deeper into your birth chart, Here are some of the recommended resources we mentioned. cafeastrology.com. Reading book, Astrology, Your Personal Guide by Sasha Fenton. On Instagram, Moon Omens and La Bruja Barbie. The Sanctuary app. This app does your birth chart for free, and they do breakdowns of Cosmo calendar events such as moon phase information. It also does your daily horoscope. If you and your friends do this on the Sanctuary app, you can see if you may have connected in a past life.